Morning, what's going on YouTube? Welcome to Wes's Angling. You're joining me and my dad at Wrightington Fisheries today, doing a bit of method feeder fishing. As you can see, the sun's just coming up behind us. It's a really nice morning. I wanted to get here for first light today, but I set off a little bit late. It was getting light from about 7 o'clock, so it's surprising how quick that the days start getting lighter in the morning. So, fishing Rivington View today, which is the main lake. As you know, Wrightington's one of my favourite fisheries. Plenty of activity this morning. Fish topping, plenty of swirls on the water. But look at that. That's going to be our setting today. I like to get to Wrightington quite early because it can get busy. I'm hoping that it's not going to be too busy today, so I can do plenty of filming for you all. So, Dad's already getting set up, look. See, topping everywhere. Nobody else here. Managed to get on our favourite pegs. So the plan is today to keep trying out this new bait. Me and my dad are both fishing our specimen rods on bite alarms, which in our opinion is the best way to fish at Wrightington. Plenty of activity everywhere. Sorry if the video quality is not very good. GoPros don't do very well early morning like this. So again, this is what we're going to be carrying on testing: the aqua stim, ground bait and pellets. I've already got some pre-made up, so this is what I like to see. Looks like he's been doing some maintenance work on the pegs. A lot of other fisheries don't pay attention to this kind of thing, yet he's filled all that in with gravel where it was dipping a bit and wearing away. It's stuff like that that makes or breaks a fishery for me. If they take pride in the maintenance, they probably take pride in the fish stocking, and they care about the lake and the business that they're running. It's only £8 here at Wrightington. You can use 2 rods, but it's well worth the money. Absolutely superb fishery. I'm going to be mostly targeting the bream today. I'm not sure whether the carp will be feeding. If we pick up a couple of carp during the day, I'm going to count myself lucky. But it's a very mild morning today, and it's been mild for probably 4 or 5 days. It's that consistent mild weather that you want to look out for when you're going fishing at this time of year. Right, well, I'm eager to get fishing, so I'm going to get my stuff set up and then we'll resume. I've got a couple of handfuls of dead maggots in here. And like I said, we're sticking with the aqua stim. A nice sweet low feed ground bait and pellet mix. And that's perfect. Ready to go. That's what me and my dad are both using today. We're going to have 1 rod on the pink wafters. And then 1 rod trying out some of these new aqua stim wafters that we've got. So my dad's trying these. I think these will be good. The colour and the flavouring. Scopex. It's always a good flavour, isn't it? If we need to mix some more ground bait up at some point today, we will. We're both fishing 30-gram banjo feeders. My dad got here a little bit before me this morning. Obviously, I'm driving from Manchester, so it just takes me a bit longer. Got myself a new landing net because I've been getting a lot of stick about having too small a landing net, so I've got this. It's a rubberized Preston Innovations landing net. Looks really good. It's really high quality, and it's a really good size as well, so we'll get any kind of carp in there. But what I like about it is it's quite shallow as well, so you could just retrieve the fish in, unhook it and get it back, no problem at all. So we'll give that a go today, hopefully christen it. Look at that sunrise, guys. Can't ask for a better setting on a lake than this. Let me see if we can see this over the hedge here, but you should be able to see Rivington Pike from there. That's why it's called Rivington View. Hopefully you can see that. We'll have a walk around in a bit and I'll show you properly, but right, I'll get my rod set up. Oh, well folks, if it looks like I'm sweating, it's because I am. Unfortunately, we've just been educated that there's a match on Rivington View today. So we'll have to fish the Horseshoe Lake. We've only fished this lake once before and we didn't do right well on it, to be quite honest with you. And there doesn't seem to be much activity on this lake. It seems a bit dead, but look, that's the hand that we've been dealt for today. So we'll just have to stick it out. We're just getting reset back up. So carted all my stuff down here and I'm just going to be fishing both rods straight out. And my dad's opposite me there. Fingers crossed we still catch a few today, but I don't think this lake is as productive as the main lake. But what can you do? Is what it is. Let's neaten ourselves up a bit because I've literally just dragged everything down, and we are a little bit gutted because we were proper geared up to fish that lake. Got some of that aqua stim syrup and my banjo mould. Like I've said to you before, I use this bag as a bit of a table because I have my main stuff in there. So I've got all my GoPro stuff, GoPro batteries and whatnot. Got my secondary GoPro there, which I usually put on a bank stick. Right, okay, so we need hook lengths. I'm going to be fishing 7-pound hook length to size 14 hooks. Sticking with the eBay banjo feeders. £1.50 a feeder. I'll put a link for you in the description if you want to save yourself a few quid. Started using Preston hooks as well rather than Coram. No reason, I just like to branch out, try new things. Right, so I'm going to go pink wafter on this one and 2T East aqua stim wafter on the other. 6mm and 8mm. These are 6s, they're 8s. Well, I think they're officially 7x10mm, but more like 8mm. Literally after anything that swims. I believe tench have been feeding places over the last week or so we might get a tench, but mostly after the bream. In Rivington View, obviously, which is the top lake, this is the lower lake, the Horseshoe Lake, there are some really decent bream. Apparently there's similar sized stuff in all the lakes, but I think the bigger fish are in the upper lake, to be quite honest. For this first cast, I'm just going to double load this method feeder, get some feed out there to start the swim off. I'm just going to underarm it out. We'll go midway. I'm hoping that it's going to be fairly quiet today with it being winter and a Tuesday. So hopefully nobody comes across from us here. But there we go, midway. Sink the line and that rod's fishing there. Get the new net on. Hopefully we still manage to christen it today. Not as confident on this lake, but we'll see. I bet this would be good in summer down here. Down these reeds. Carp will love to be in and out of those. And these reeds go right out into the lake. Second hook length on. Again, like always, if you want to know how to tie a method feeder hook length up yourself, I'll put a link for it in the top right hand corner now for you. They're a really nice tutti frutti flavour. Definitely going to be visible. Let's see how they compare against the pink wafters. I do like having a few dead maggots in my method feeder mix. I would never put live maggots in there because they just break up the method feeder. And again, I'm just putting some of this chocolate orange attractant on every cast. We'll come a bit closer in with this one. We'll go just out there. That's sorted. Hopefully nobody wants to fish these pegs because it's They're not very wide, these walkways. I don't think they will though, there's only a couple of pegs this side. Right, we're up and running there. Oh, he's got you on the bank stick cam. Yeah, it is. It's really tall as well. I don't know how stable it is once it gets to a certain height, but... Well, yeah, well...
Is it the screw one at the bottom?
Yeah, a big screw. Look at that, eh? Innovative. I've got to admit, I'm a little bit obsessed with this new F1 ground bait I found from Aquastim. So sweet, such a nice flavour. I can literally smell it when I'm sat there. I can smell it, so it's a really strong flavour. Very, very sweet. And I think it'll do really well. I think we'll have some good success on that this year. And those maggots will probably attract a few silvers in for me today, I'm hoping. I'll put a web link for Aquastim in my description for you, just in case you wanted to check it out. Oh, fish topping. So I've just been talking to the owner here at Wrightington Fisheries, who's really nice. One of the friendliest fishery owners that I've ever met. Very helpful, very knowledgeable about his lakes. And like I said before, everything's really well maintained. So what I'm going to do, I've got a handful of pellets, ground bait and dead maggots there. I'm actually going to feed out just from the edge of these reeds, because we've seen carp splashing in the margins a couple of places around the lake, so I think it might be worth trying down the side today at some point, maybe a little bit later in the day. But I'll feed it up, and if there's any carp moving through, it'll just help hold them there. So let's see if we can get it in the right spot. I want to be probably about 3 foot out from them reeds. You see that? Carp splashing in the margin down the bottom there. About there. Let's go another handful. Right, so that should draw them in. Potentially we might pick up a carp a little bit later there. Fish on. Or at least I did have a fish on. Just had my first bit of a bite there, Dad. Okay folks, so you're on the bank stick cam there. I've had a couple of bleeps on the buzzers so far. Don't look like there's anybody turned up for this match yet. I'll be really, really annoyed if there's no match on. Maybe we've just been told so somebody else gets the best pegs. My dad's fuming this morning, he's trodden on his glasses. He really wanted to fish that other lake as well. We've got the Tootie and East wafter on the left hand side, and then pink wafter 6mm on the right hand side. I've seen a couple of fish blowing and a couple of swirls, but nowhere near as much activity as on the other lake. Yeah, it's really nice. The channel's getting to a point now where even the fishery owners are seeing the videos and watching them. And at the end of the day, I guess it's free advertising as well for a lot of these fisheries, but it is what it is. We don't mind paying for the day sessions. We're not in this for the money. We're just in this to share our views on fisheries and give you a few tips along the way. We're going to be out fishing anyway, so we might as well document it. That's the way I'm seeing it. So we just had a bit of a, I don't know whether it was a liner or maybe a bream that has just come off, but I might need to recast that rod out. I'll give it another 5 minutes, something like that, just in case the fish is still around and was maybe feeding on the feeder or whatever, and then I'll recast it. Just had a bit of a bleep on my right hand rod. I don't know if you can see the bite alarm lit up there, but I've just been saying to my dad, I got hat hurt. I've just been saying that what I might do a little bit later on today is just swap over to that next peg along for you and just try to that overhanging dead tree. And we'll see if we can pick up a carp there a bit later on, because there's tons of bubbles coming up. A few of you have been asking about my Stanley flask. I will do a proper review on that, but I really recommend them. I think they're probably the best flask you can get Lifetime warranty on them. Virtually indestructible, which is great when you're clumsy like me. You can get all the spare parts from. So my dad trod on my lid on my last one when I got a run once. So I've replaced that. So you can replace every part of them. Really cheap for the parts as well. That were only 3 quid, 3-4 quid for a new lid. So really strong flask. Keeps everything hot for about 24 hours as well. So really good quality. I've had that coming up to 2 years now. This net's like a rubberized texture. My dad wants me to dip it in the water and see how it is. I don't want to get it wet, to be quite honest with you. Look at how new it is. Yeah, it's got like a fabric edging, and it's attached underneath. I think this like metal's formed around it so that you don't get any like fabric where the fish can catch themselves on.
It's in a groove, isn't it?
Yeah, it's in a groove on the underneath. But it's like a weird rubber texture. I don't know how it looks.
A lot seem to be like that. Let's try it.
Oh yeah, look at that straight in. I think it'd be heavier than normal mesh.
I would imagine it will dry quicker.
Yeah. But
You know
it
what I
won't
mean?
absorb the water, will it?
No.
But I don't know how long that rubberized texture on it will last. Dad's showing me his new tackle box there. Oh, Dad, it's heavy that.
You'll not open it like that. It's a bit tight.
Ridge monkey, eh? Where's all your rigs, Dad?
Oh, I've not put them in there yet. It's tight with it, you know.
I like it, it's good. It's compact, isn't it? Well, there's 3 sections.
Yeah.
I like that.
Only trouble is with that top section.
I'll swap you for mine.
Only trouble with this top section is you can't get your fingers into it and then
What do you mean to use the flaps out? Oh, I see what you mean.
it's the tiny.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Very
Yeah,
tight.
you can't get in behind it, can you?
No.
It might loosen up with age.
Well, that's what I'm hoping.
That's alright, that, Dad.
Yeah, it should be 60 quid.
So, Ridge Monkey, if you're watching this, you can send me one of them. Wonder how many of them they'll sell off that video now. Goddamn free advertising. Come on. I don't want to blank again today for you all. It's getting a bit embarrassing now. Absolutely lovely scenes at Wrightington Fishery. You can see Rivington there in the distance. Especially on a clear day, you'll be able to see right to Rivington Pike. I'm going to recast this one. Oh, carp topping over there, Dad, near that overhanging tree. Like I said, just had a bit of a run on this one, on the Atutian East wafter, but I think it might have been a small bream. It's unhooked itself. So I've just put a 6mm pink wafter on, and hopefully we get a better hook hold next time. Sometimes when you're using too big of a wafter for the size of the hook, the fish can throw the hook. But it's good that we've had a run on the Atutian East. Shows that the flavour's right and they work. See the owner shouting at his dog. Got a crazy Labrador. Good signs that we've had a couple of runs already. We'll just keep at it. Just for your information as well. Hey up, we're in straight away. Yeah, fish on. Has it come off? It's come off again. Must be tiny bream. So, as my dad said, we'll just check my hook point. Yeah, sharp. Yeah, sharp as anything, that, Dad. Leave it a little bit longer next time. I could band a couple of maggots, dead maggots. That might work. Might try that if I keep getting these little finicky runs. But that's the third run I've missed, which is uncommon on the method feeder. But good sign. And that's just literally flicked out. Just straight out from them reeds. As I was saying to you, there's quite a few bubbles and stuff coming up just along this fallen in tree, and I've seen a carp jumping in between the branches there. Obviously it's really snaggy, that, but you can see all the bubbles coming up there. Look, where carp, that'll be a carp, that feeding just out.
Yeah, it's a skimmer. Yeah, skimmer. It upped itself in that, look.
Look at this, save the blank. Just been talking to the owner and he says swap sides. Fish over to this broken tree here, but we've saved the blank. I knew there were small skimmers in the swim. We've christened the net as well. My dad's still talking to the owner. Let's get this rod back out. Got my brew over as well, look. See? It's another there's another leg broke. You see how you need to sometimes just swap up depending on what's in your peg. If you're missing loads of little bites like that, it probably means that there's some bream in your peg. And small ones at that. Obviously big bream will take anything. You know, I've had bigger bream on 15mm boilies, so that's not a problem, but if they're unhooking themselves like that, it means it's smaller bream and you probably need to scale down a little bit. But I'm going to have another couple of casts on this side and then we'll probably swap over, like the owner said, to the opposite side there, fish into these dead trees, which I'll show you in a second. I'm just going to flick this back out. It just had another bream bite as soon as I cast back in. I think it's unhooked itself actually. Right, so even though I've had a couple of skimmers here, after the owner's advice, we're just going to move to the opposite side. He said that this side is actually shallower, but the other side's deeper and better for skimmers. But the carp, in summer, all this is covered in lily pads. All that top end's covered in lily pads. And there's plenty of snags and stuff like that to fish to that the carp are going to like. And I'll be honest with you, I want to pick up a couple of carp for you because it's been a while since we've done any carp fishing really. So we'll fish over there and hopefully we'll get a couple. They might not be massive, but fingers crossed, let's try for them. So I'm going to move my stuff down to this peg and my dad's going to move over to this peg here. And we'll have a peg in between us, out the way. So there's been bubbling and bubbling and bubbling coming up just about 2 foot off that island. Now I'm going to have to fish with a reasonably tight drag because we're going to have to get them away from them snags. I don't want to be losing any fish. I'm fishing 10-pound main line, so that's not a problem, but only a 7-pound hook link. And then my other one, I don't know, I'll put it out just over there probably, or down here in the margin, somewhere like that. I don't know whether you can see the bubbles coming up from them carp just out from that overhanging tree. So I'm going to be really stealthy and just lower a method feeder in. going to put my bait runner on and tighten up my bait runner drag. So this next rod I'm going to try and get out just under the branches of this big oak tree. It's going to be a tough cast, but I'm going to try that because I've just seen some bubbling underneath it. It's a good cast. Right, both rods are back out and we're fishing again. I'll switch you back on if we get a fish. I'm hoping I'm filming just out from that tree. I knew there was carp there feeding. Been bubbling all day. Don't think it's massive, but ready. We've been blowing all morning there. Just shows you that if you cast a feeding fish like that.
Yeah, well, it's surprising, isn't it? It's putting up a whole scrap.
Oh, it's going round in circles. I don't want to put too much pressure on it. I'm only fishing a 7 pound hook then. Size 14 hook. They're very fine, these hooks as well. Oh, it's a couple of pound. It's not massive. Still a fish though. It's like a nice mirror. Lost on a feeder. Oh. Hey. Nice linear mirror. You see how feeders come off? It did shoot off though. So look at that. Feeders come off.
I've never ever lost one like that.
Because you never catch now, Dad. For all the young uns out there just getting into fishing, one of the most useful tools that you're ever going to buy, a disgorger. Because this carp's absolutely wolfed that down. And there we go, hooks out. Linear scale pattern. And he's back. Forgot my Westie's angling towel, covered in slime. Ugh. I hope you can see why it's important to set your drag tight when you're fishing near snags like that. Otherwise that fish would have been in those snags and I'd have never got it out. Right. It's a bit better, a bit tighter, that particular feeder. But rather lose a feeder like that than a fish be dragging one round with it if you happen to get broke. So it shows you that it works. Let's get it back out to that spot, because where there's one carp there's usually a couple more. The old F1 Supreme's doing me proud today. Right, let's see if we can get it back at the same spot. Might have to mix some more ground bait and pellets up. I've not got loads left. had another little knock on this right hand rod. Oh, that was the left one. Plenty of fish moving about if we're getting bleeps like this all the time. My dad's fishing just to the right, just out from them reeds on the far bank. I need to keep an eye on my rods. I need to be straight on them if I get a fish, otherwise they'll be in them snags. I've got my drag really tight on the bait runner, so rod pod's probably going to go in and everything. Time are we on? 5 to 10. So we've got loads of fishing time left. Already had a couple of fish. 2 little skimmers. One of them I didn't get on the camera because I was having a chat with the owner at the time. I don't want to be too close into them snags. I don't know what it looks like on the bottom of the lake. But I do want to be near them. That was a little twitch. I don't think I did that. Sure, let's get him out of these bushes. Oh, it's come off. Oh dear. Well, at least there's fish still in the swim. Damn it. I think it might have been. Oh dear. Yeah, it could have been a small fish, Dad. Oh, the aqua sim's doing it for me today. And the pink wafters. This chocolate orange attractant's awesome. It just soaks into the ground bait there on the top. All I'm doing is I'm just trying to gently drop it in. So I'm leaving plenty of line out. And just gently swinging and dropping like that. And I double load it so that some comes off on the cast and then the rest stays on the feeder. Quite a few people have been asking me about method feeder line and what line they should use when feeder fishing and stuff like that. Now, I always use Daiwa sensor. It's the line that I've got the most confidence in. I did swap onto Daiwa Ultra Sensor for a while, which has got a narrower line diameter and there's less stretch in it. Now, the fact that there's less stretch in it can be a bit of a problem. So this year, my 10-pound line that I've got on my specimen rods and 6,000 reels here, I'm going to swap over to 10-pound normal Daiwa sensor. I've got 10-pound Ultra Daiwa sensor on here. So like I say, thinner line diameter and it's got less stretch. Whereas a normal Daiwa sensor, slightly thicker line diameter and more stretch, which is better, I think. I know that you probably don't get the same kind of bite indications on the method feeder, but in my opinion that doesn't really matter. Bit of a twitch then. There we go. Get you on my head. Bloody hell. This is why I lose so many fish. Bit of an odd bite that, weren't it? I think it's something small, maybe a bream. Yeah. We'll go back to our line conversation in a second. As I was saying, I don't think it really matters the type of line when you're method feeder fishing. There's no such thing really, in my opinion, as sinking mono and floating mono. Mono's mono at the end of the day. The thing that stops it sinking potentially is the line diameter. Usually these floater fishing lines and stuff like that, they've got a slightly thicker line diameter. Nice little skimmer. Meaning that it's more buoyant. And the thinner lines will obviously sink a lot better, but when you're tightening up to your method feeder anyway, the line's going to sink no matter what. When you've got a tight line, it's going to go from your rod tip to your method feeder tight, So in my opinion, it doesn't really matter what kind of line that you're using. It's not going to sit flat against the bottom because you've got you're tight from your line to your method feeder. So I don't think it matters anyway. The three things that I think are most important when you're feeder fishing, these are my top 3 tips. A nice heavy method feeder, so 30 gram upwards. I've used stuff all the way up to a 60-70 gram method feeder before now, especially when I'm targeting the carp. It just helps set the hook. The heavier method feeder helps set the hook. You want a nice tight insert into the feeder, but just enough so that the carp or whatever fish that you hook, in case of a breakage, can pull that out and it's not trailing behind the method feeder. My third tip is using a nice wide gape hook that's got an outturned eye, and that just gives you a nice open presentation on the hook, so the line exits the eye straight if it's outturned, rather than having an inturned eye. It closes that gap and you have less of a hooking capability if that gap's smaller between the line and the hook. I will show you in a video at some point and I'll go through stuff like that, but yeah, you want an outturned eye method feeder hook that's got a nice wide gape to it. So they're my top 3 tips. Nice heavy feeder, tight insert into the end of the feeder, and a nice wide gape outturned eye hook. Right, let's get this rod back out. If there's bream in the swim, there'll be a few of them in there. I don't mind catching them. That's really what I've come for today, to be honest, but we managed to pick up a carp. Obviously we all want carp really, don't we, but it's nice to just try and target other species every now and again. I like to try and target tench in late Feb, early March. Oh, that's brilliant, that. Much better cast, and everything stayed on the feeder. My dad's not had anything yet, but I'm sure he will, because the fish are definitely on the feed. A knock on his right hand rod. No, it weren't, no. I was watching it. I wonder whether the fish is still on. I'm going to say yeah. Yeah, fish on. Another bream, I think. Try not to lose it. Little skimmer. Don't mind catching these. Great net this, I'm impressed with it. Oops. Hooked it top lip. Swapped over to this side to catch carp and I'm catching skimmers. I think my dad's fuming, he's still not had a fish. I'm making it look easy though. That's the way it goes sometimes. If you watch the videos, if you're following the channel, you know that sometimes, usually how it works is I'll do well or he'll do well. We don't normally both do well. But I'm gonna have to mix some of this up in a minute again. Or some ground bait and pellets. I think this is my new go-to. I'm gonna stick to it through the spring and into summer. Oh, have you got, that's a better skimmer. Twanging, there was a fish on it. It might have been feeding up feeder, eh? Oh yeah, that's a carp. First fish today that stuck line. Look at him, he's fuming. He's fuming. I think I've lost my feeder again. £3 worth of feeders I've lost today, that. Oh. It's always the little ones as well that seem to rip the feeder off. Come on, you. Don't want to lose it here. Got it. Oh. Yes. It's a nice little common. It's a pristine fish. Yeah, look, so my tail rubber's coming off and it's dragging the feeder off. Maybe these tail rubbers aren't tight enough. Seem tight though, that. Well, look at that. Still got its barbels. Oops. Hey. Well, they're on fairly tight, them feeders. God knows. Oh no, my cup. See what happens. Oh no, I've dipped my feeder in water as well. Bloody hell. Come on, Westy, what are you doing? Shaping wooden. I've actually seen carp topping over there where there's a little bit of a runoff on that bank. So that might be worth a go later. But if the small ones are feeding, there we go, that's why we're not going to fish on that, because we've got a leaf. If the small carp are feeding, that means the bigger ones will. Let's double load it. So on the second load, I just gently... Oh, we've got another fish. So I'll go today. Absolutely blinding day for this time of year. It's like a nice bream, Dad.
Just put pink wafter on.
Yeah. Makes a difference, doesn't it? He's had that rod down there maybe 20 minutes, 20-30 minutes. Swapped over to a pink wafter and he's had a bite within 5 minutes. Nice bream. Yeah, it's not a bad one, that. It's a bit damaged, but
Been a weight to it, that.
yeah, it's nice. Looks like it's been attacked a couple of times. Got a fish on, yeah?
Yep.
Pink wafter again. Yep. Is it a small bream?
Yeah.
Oh! Don't count that one. That's a carp. Oh, it's come out. Yeah, so that was definitely a carp. It's pulled out, but I'd just gone back on pink wafter. So, for whatever reason, they're not having the aqua stim today. They want the pink wafters. There is a reason that it's my favourite bait. I had the aqua stim Tutti Frutti on for, I don't know, 30 minutes, no bite, swapped straight back onto a pink wafter and it went straight off. I do love these ground bait and pellets though. You know me folks, I'll always give you honesty where I can and tell you what's working and what's not. Having an absolutely brilliant day though. I'm gutted it pulled out of that fish, but see, straight away. In all fairness to aqua stim, it's the ground bait and pellets that's drawing them in, isn't it? Definitely. You seem to be getting a better stamp of bream over here than I am over there.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it?
So my dad's been using the syrup on the ground bait as well. And then the old pink wafters on the hook. Just had a bit of a bite then. Come on. Yeah, it seems to be carp in my side of the swim here. Whether they're holding to all these snags, I don't know. But they seem to be under that tree. And out from this. All these fallen branches. And this is the Horseshoe Lake at Wrightington, if you wanted to fish it yourself. Just down from the main lake. You'll see it as you drive in. There's a car park just at the bottom there, so it's not too far to walk from the car. Oh, it's come out. It's just a small bream. I was going to get the net. So I'd literally just cast that in as well, and I'd just gone a couple of foot to the right. This is a small bream if it's anything. Let's see if this one will get in or it comes off. No doubt it'll come off. Kind of hoping it does. Oh, we've got it in. We've got it in. Oh, it's gone. It's got me wafter as well. A tiny skimmer. Well, the baby skimmers in my swim. That's what they do, they unhook themselves. Oh, me and my dad are having such a good day that I'm going to have to mix some more ground bait. No, I won't mix much. Oh, they smell so strong. Awesome pellets. That'll do. This is a 2 kilogram bag. Almost gone through it. They do up to 4 kilogram bags. Like I said, they're good because they're resealable. Mix that a little bit wet because I put pellets in there and they'll absorb some of that water up. Bit of attractant and all. Let's try this one. Black Magic. God, that's sweet. That's a bit chocolate orangey as well, to be honest. Put some in the middle. Right, I'm going to try an overarm and risk potentially landing in this tree. It's a bit better. Recast this one and all. They're clearly not down there anymore. They've probably pushed further back into the snags. It's gone quiet. My dad's not had out for a while either. This little run. Oh, see? Decent carp out there. absolutely gone dead. You'll find that in fisheries. You'll either have a really good morning or a really good afternoon. My dad's had one small skimmer in the last couple of hours. There are a few more anglers on the lake now, so that might be having an effect on it. More angling pressure. That's also why I'm talking quietly as well. I don't want to disturb anybody else. Okay folks, so I'm probably going to have one last cast before I call it a day. I just wanted to say thanks very much for watching the video. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, now's your chance to do so. I hope you've picked up a couple of tips in today's session. If you are interested in coming and having a fish at Wrightington and you're local, I'll put the address in the description for you. But once again, thanks very much for watching, and we'll see you in the next Westies Angling. One to end on. Yeah. Cool. Hey. Dad's got one last fish here as well. Both had a fish to end on. It's a better bream.